Hello everyone and welcome to Nervous Nessie. In today's video, I wanted to share with you 5 things that you might want to learn before you travel. So let's get into them. The first thing that you might want to learn before you travel is how to swim. Now, I actually do not know how to swim. So this is something that I really should learn, obviously. I can float on my back. I can actually swim on my back, but when I turn over, I just sort of sink. I can kind of doggy paddle. I can make do in a pool or shallow water, but out in the open ocean, no, I'm gonna panic. I have done snorkeling in Hawaii, and that was in the ocean, but I had a pool noodle underneath me holding me up. So, but yes, you're going to want to learn how to swim because you never know when you are traveling that maybe you're staying at a resort and they have a beautiful pool and you want to jump in, or if you're hiking somewhere and you come across a waterfall and there's a pool of water below the waterfall, you might want to jump in. So you definitely want to learn how to swim. Also, if you are interested in scuba diving, you have to know how to swim. So if you're thinking, okay, I'm going to maybe take a trip to Australia to see the Great Barrier Reef, if you don't know how to swim and you can't get your scuba diving license, then you're only going to see the Great Barrier Reef from the surface. So check out your local communities. Sometimes they have like adult classes for swimming, or if there's an aquatic center near you, you can sign up for swim lessons. The prices are generally cheaper if you take a group class versus if you were to take one-on-one instruction. But yeah, learn how to swim. The second thing that you might want to learn before you travel is how to dance. I took a ballroom dance class through my local community college, and I learned the basics on salsa, foxtrot, waltz, merengue. There was another one, I think cha-cha. I just learned the basics in one class. The class lasted me 4 months, and because it was through the community college and I am listed as a student, even though I'm an adult, the class was only $40 for 4 months worth of class, which is way cheaper than if you were to go to a dance studio. So if you're looking into taking dance classes, maybe look into your local community college. Even though you're an adult of any age, you can sign up and become a student. You'll have to obviously submit your transcripts from when you were in school, which can be a little tough because I had to pull from long ago. But I became a student and I signed up for the classes, and there was actually a student in the class that was 98 years old and was dancing as if he was in his 20s. He had been dancing his whole life with his wife, and it was a whole range of people in the class. But if you're wanting to take dance lessons, your local community college is a great way to take inexpensive classes. I didn't really think that it would come in handy when it came to traveling, but if you saw my Chicago videos, I had an opportunity to dance salsa with a total stranger, and because I had taken a basics class, I was able to do that and have fun and make a memory of the trip. So, learning how to dance can come in handy when you decide to travel. The third thing that you want to learn, which is probably more important than learning how to swim or learning how to dance, is learning how to haggle, especially if you are going to a different country. In the United States, most of the time, the prices for items are fixed. You could haggle all day long, the prices are not going to change. This is especially true for stores and restaurants, various businesses that are set up. Uh, Usually, the only time you can kind of haggle is like at farmers markets, but I don't haggle at farmers markets because they are local people either selling handmade goods or selling fruits and vegetables from their farms, and I don't want to take away any money from them. But when you do go to other countries, you can haggle the price. Whatever the price is on the item may not be the price that you have to pay. When I was in Mexico, there was a store I went into and they had a lot of different jewelry in there. There was one bracelet that I wanted, and I think it was maybe like $20 American. And I decided to haggle and I got them down like 50% off. So learn how to haggle. You don't want to be aggressive, or should I say, you don't want to be overly aggressive. Don't be mean about it. You can be a little pushy and go back and forth, but read the person that you're haggling with. If you can tell that you're making them angry, then that the price is not going to come down. Either they're going to stick firm to the price or they could get mad and ask you to leave. But learn how to haggle. And there's plenty of videos on YouTube and lots of information out there on the best ways to haggle. Just do your research, practice with a friend. Have your friend be aggressive back towards you, or basically role play the whole haggling experience and have your friend not give in so easily, because when you are haggling, the person you're haggling with will not give in so easily. The fourth thing that you want to learn before you travel, and this is especially true for traveling to other countries, is learn the basics of the language. There are so many different platforms out there on how you can learn a different language. There's, I think, Pimsleur, Babbel, Rosetta Stone. There's so many out there, and not all of them work for everybody. I've tried different ones and they don't always work for me. Another option is, again, to go to a community college. You can take a class. It is a little bit more expensive than the dance classes, but you can take a class on whatever language and you will get a good foundation of that language, because it's kind of the equivalency of taking high school level of that language in one course. I would say the main things that you would want to learn is obviously your greetings, how to say hi, how to say bye, how to say thank you and you're welcome, please, help. You can add questions, so like, how do I do this, or where is something, when is something. All of your questions, learn how to say the basic part of it, like where is, and then fill in the blank. Also, it's a good idea to learn like the signs, so you can do your research online and see some of the signs that are going to be posted in the other countries. Familiarize yourself with it. Learn what the sign is for like emergency or caution or like a stop sign. Learn the basic signs, that way as you're navigating you know what those are. Otherwise, you could end up in a bad situation because a caution sign was up and you didn't know to be cautious. So learn the basics of the language, get a friend to practice with you, and you will be much better off when you go to travel. The fifth thing that you might want to learn before you travel is how to eat like the locals eat. This is especially true if you are an American going to another country, or if you're from another country and you're coming to America, because how you eat is very, very different. Now, this is not a blanket statement. There are people in the United States that eat differently and vice versa with other countries. But what I mean by that is if you are wanting to go to another country and you want to blend in, you don't want to look like a tourist and you want to blend in with the locals, then you want to learn how to eat the same way that they do. In America, most people generally eat with their fork in their right hand. Now, I know because I'm shooting this video, it's going to be a little confusing, but yes, most people eat with the fork in the right hand. They just kind of do a scoop motion and eat. If they need to cut up something, then they basically put the fork in the left hand, pick up their knife, cut whatever it is, set the knife down, put the fork in the right hand, and then they'll sit and they'll eat. That is kind of the American way of eating, but in a lot of other countries, it's actually right the opposite. The fork is in the left hand, the knife is in the right hand. They never leave these hands. They are constantly in these hands. And you are cutting and eating like this. And the knife never gets put down. The fork never swaps hands. And this is considered the continental way of eating. In the United States, this way of eating is usually reserved for higher end restaurants, or if it's someone who does know how to eat like this, they will implement it regardless of where they are eating. Now, I grew up with the American way and having to swap hands and do the cutting and everything. But as I got older, I discovered that there's a totally different way of eating, which is the continental way. And now I actually implement this every time. It's so much easier to just, I'm not swapping hands. I just eat. It takes, I will say, it takes a little bit to get used to eating the other way, because if you're used to having to swap and, you know, you're using your right hand, most people are right-handed, and so that dominant hand having to sit and swap it, it's weird at first. But once you get used to it, you discover that this way is so much easier. But it's good to know both ways. That way, if you are going to an area that eats differently, you can blend in with them. Along those same lines, if you are going to an Asian country, then you might want to learn how to eat with chopsticks. And Again, there is a learning curve to it on how to eat with chopsticks and actually get the food on your chopsticks. But if you can learn how to eat with chopsticks, it'll make your trip so much easier, because if you go to an Asian country where everyone is using chopsticks, you may not be able to get a fork or a spoon. It may only be chopsticks, and if you don't know how to eat with chopsticks, you're probably gonna be hungry or have to use your fingers, which is not exactly the best option. I have been using chopsticks for years, and I actually eat enough Asian food that I actually now know how to eat left-handed with chopsticks. But yes, get a little inexpensive thing of chopsticks, practice with it. There again are many videos on YouTube for how to eat with chopsticks, what you can do with chopsticks. You can actually tear meat with chopsticks, not all meat, but some. But you can learn how to eat with chopsticks by watching videos on YouTube. Same thing goes with the American and continental way of dining. Most of the time, those videos are under etiquette videos because, again, in the United States, using the continental way of eating is more reserved towards fine dining, so you would want to learn the etiquette and how to do fine dining, and that's where you'll get a lot of those videos. In those videos, I will say that you can learn what the placement is of all of your dishes. Where's the glass, the water glass go? Where does the wine glass go? What are all these forks and knives? You can learn all of that on YouTube, and whenever you travel, that can come in very handy. I hope you enjoyed today's video where I shared with you 5 things that you might want to learn before you travel. I know that a lot of these, some of you may be like, well, I already know how to do a lot of that stuff. But a lot of people may not even think about it and know to learn these things. We kind of take it for granted that you know how to swim, but not everyone knows how to swim. So if you are traveling in a group and you have one friend that doesn't know how to swim, they're gonna be left out whenever you travel. So maybe help them get some lessons. That way when you do go on your trip, everyone can join. But I hope that you enjoyed the video, and if you liked it, give me a thumbs up. If you have any questions about the things that I suggested, feel free to leave a comment below and I will get to those as soon as I can. And I look forward to seeing everyone in the next video. Bye!